Welcome to Formula 7 Racing. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So SRL Matt is in. Brilliant. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Tier 3. We are live here in Mexico, and it is chucking it down. Wow. Let me jump into a party. I don't know why I can't hear any audio, but I will sort that out in 2 seconds. I know why I can't hear any audio, so bear with me. Right, 1 second. There we go. So welcome, 16 drivers on the grid, short qualifying. We are live in Mexico. This is what it's all about. Short qualifying though. So, who's going to be first to settle up? It is going to be Theo Tarnland. I need to add, sorry, let me add James Gardner, I think it is. I've not added him yet. So, I'm guessing he's British, but I'll have to double check that. So, James Gardner. '01. Category Tier 3, and his platform is PlayStation. Nice. Right, let's rock and roll. We are ready to go. So, down towards turn 3, I think it is. Let's have a look. My PlayStation is lagging quite a bit. 1 minute. I'm definitely on Ethernet, aren't I? Yes, thank God for that. I think it's just my PC. I've got a lot going on with it. So, out of turn 6 of the hairpin, down towards the S's at turn 7, over the apex. And they're on the intermediate, so they are chancing it. And you can see him just trying to hold on to that Sauber car. Takes a lot of the apex coming through turn 10 and 11. And then down Del Ovalo towards turn 12. And then you see that stadium section coming up. So in towards turn 13, he'll move out to the right-hand side and then just brake and just hug the apex over the chicane. Knocks down that baton as we come through Peraltada. And then out of turn 16 towards the start-finish line. And Field at a 1:28.4. His teammate of James Gardner, his debut race here in Tier 3, here in Mexico. His treacherous debut around Peraltada. Out of the final towards the line, James Gardner, a 1:30.0 on his debut lap here in Formula 7 Racing. Umbragos has invalidated it. He's going to have to go again. These laps are going to get even quicker and quicker. And then that is Kevin Gamer. Bear with me. Yes, I know why that is. Bear with me. Right, hopefully that will sort out the mic. Let me just sort the sound out. Let me know if my mic does go funky or if it's alright. Yeah, I'm not sure. You know what? I've said to my missus, I said, I need to send this bloody mic back. Because I keep getting this like robot sound and it's brand new. It cost me 80 quid. So Theo Tarnland is on pole position. It is Super Skills, who I think is third in the Drivers' Championship in P2. Vicious Vicar in P3 and Jabber in P4. James Gardner in P5. Mad Riot in P6. Kevin Gamer in P7. Umbragos is on another lap. The Alpine driver going purple sector 2 as we go into the stadium section. Johan, just let me know if there is any more issues with my mic and I can try and sort it out before I do lights out. Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be a dry race. So Umbragos goes up to P2 and Icy goes up to P7 and in front of Mad Riot. Kevin Gamer into the pit lane. Podge Racing, he is leading the Drivers' Championship by 10 points to his fellow countryman, the Swedish driver of Theo. And Podge has been trying to keep that lead. We know he lost the championship by 2 points in Season 8, I think it was. So he's looking for redemption here in Season 11. So, coming out of Peraltada and down towards the start-finish line. And Podge goes up to P4. Not a bad lap here in Mexico, especially considering the conditions. Mad Riot has invalidated it, and then you do have Super Skills going for another lap, and he's got Mad Riot right on his tail, just using him for a little bit of slipstream. What about NDMV in the Visa Cash App? Out of Peraltada. And it is P3 from NDNV. James Gardner is on another setup lap. And then we've got Nimblecat and SRL Matt, who are yet to set lap times. Nimblecat will be first. Got a podium last week in Monza. That was absolutely incredible. So in towards the stadium section as he comes out of Reta del Ovalo. And then into Peraltada. And Nimblecat goes up to P9. What about Matt in the Haas? Took a big chunk of that chicane. And Jabba goes fastest at 127.7. So the track is heating up. We are starting to see a dry line form. And these laps will get quicker. Theo is on another lap as he comes through the S's. And then down Recta del Ovalo with the battery burning. As we head in towards turn 12 into the stadium section. You've got the podium grandstand just to your right as you come out of turn 12 as well. Each lap around Mexico, 4.4 kilometers. And Theo stays P2. Kevin Gamer is on an out lap. We have a lot of drivers. The thing is with intermediates, you can just bang out lap after lap after lap, and you can just get quicker and quicker. James Gardner will be next, and the Sauber driver goes P6. Great lap from James Gardner on them 4-lap-old intermediates, and I'm sure he'll be raring to go. The Racing Bull is about to start his lap, and SRL Matt has invalidated it. So Kevin Gamer in the Racing Bull as we head down Recta Principale towards Moses Solano at turn 1. And Kevin Gamer just slipping and sliding. The conditions are tough out there. If anybody is racing online, they know that these sort of conditions, you can really struggle. But he is 6 tenths up on his lap time here, Kevin Gamer. So he means business. I like the way you do business. So Kevin Gamer in at P12. Nimblecat just in front in that Ferrari. He's just heading out of the hairpin as he came through SA Del Lago. And then in towards the S's here at the Autodrome Hermanos Rodriguez. And then we go down right to Del Ovalo on board with the Scuderia Ferrari in towards turn 12. You can see the podium grandstands to the right there. There you go. In towards the stadium at turn 13. Hugging the apex, and he's slipping and sliding, just gripping onto that steering wheel, holding on for dear life as the Ferrari driver puts everything into this lap. It's going to be in the 128s, 128, 129, 1. He just went down into the 129, but it is P8 for the podium sitter from last week. Bulldog is also on a lap in that Mercedes. It is short qualifying due to the attendance. I would have done full had we have had 16 when we started the race, because I always like to do full. So Bulldog is on an out lap. We still need Doug and Cinders to come out. I think they're just waiting, but I feel like when you do that, you're compromising yourself to get used to the conditions before you set a lap. When you go out there blindfolded, and yeah, Bulldog and Cinders on the way out now. Doug's still in the pit lane. NDMV Podge into P, and NDMV in that Racing Bull in P6. Super Skills in P4. And then we've got Umbra Ghost, Theo and Jabba. Bjorn, how late do I need to set up the lobby? You can set up the lobby whenever you want. It's, you know, it's entirely up to you. If you, sometimes if I'm not doing anything or I'm not practicing, I'll set it up at 9 o'clock and just leave it on. You know what I mean? Like, and then just wait till 22, quarter to send invites. So Jabba is going for another lap, and Bulldog is on a lap as it comes in towards Essa del Lago at turn 4 and 5, as it goes a little bit wide and invalidates it. The Mercedes driver, and Doug's still in the pit lane. He is waiting. Cinders in the McLaren about to start his first flying lap, and then we have the McLaren of Podge going in towards the pit lane. Super Skills in the Red Bull is also on his way in the pits. Jabba is on a lap in that Ferrari. He's a 10th.5 up, coming in towards Essa del Lago at turn 5. And he doesn't go wide this time, like the Mercedes driver. So the Scuderia slipping and sliding, and NDMV has gone even quicker in that Racing Bull. A 1:27.5 for the VCAB. And it is provisional pole for the Vietnamese driver. Jabba has invalidated it. That is how tough it is. And then Kevin Gamer in the Racing Bull. We have Icy, who goes up to P6. The Aston Martin driver into P6. What about Cinders in the McLaren? He is just coming down Rector Trasera towards turn 4 now. Can the McLaren improve? Essa del Lago into turn 5. And he's right behind that Haas driver, who just moves out of the way for the Papaya. So out of the hairpin, down towards the S's. So we'll stay on board with Cinders and see what he can do with just over 4 minutes of this qualifying session remaining. 16 drivers on the grid. Remember, Formula 7 Racing, the points go to P15. So barring one driver, everybody's in for the points. I'm hoping for a nice dry Grand Prix. Cinders took a huge part of the apex into turn 13 there, as he comes out of Perotada down the Principal, and it is P9 for Cinders. Doug is on an outlap, and now he's got to try and get used to the conditions. He's hit his front wing. Umbra Ghost goes provisional pole by 1.4 seconds, and Doug might just find himself having to go back into the pit lane. He is. He's got a missing end plate, and that's what happens when you leave it so late. And Doug will be kicking himself now. Bulldog is on his way back out. So is SRL Matt. He's about to start. He's probably penultimate lap. He's probably got another 2 in him. Vicious Vicar is 1.7 up as he comes through the stadium section in towards Perotada. Down the Principal towards the start finish line. Mad Riot goes on to P2 in the Williams. Vicious Vicar is right behind him in P3. Mad Riot in the Williams in P2 and P3. What about the Ferrari coming round now? That is Nimblecat on an outlap to start his potentially penultimate lap. I'm not sure they'll have the battery to go again if that was the case. Podge is on an outlap. He does have an Alpine behind him, and that is Doug that needs to get in the pits and get back out. Has he got the time, or is he going to start from the back of this grid? Cinders is half a second up. That is going to put him roughly around Podge's time, maybe stay in position out of the final chicane, and Doug is out. He's not going to set a lap time, and Cinders goes P9 in front of the Sauber driver of James Gardner. Umbra Ghost, who is currently on provisional pole position, will potentially go for another lap. The Mercedes and Bulldog is on an out lap, and James Gardner on his debut is invalidated. 2 minutes to go here in Mexico. Can they improve? The Haas of SRL Max 1.7 up, but he's gone so deep into Peretada, and that would have cost him so much time. He stays P14. Bulldog in the Mercedes is on a lap as he comes out of turn 3 and down the Trasera straight towards Essa Del Lago at turn 4. The Sauber of Theo Townland will start his lap. There's another driver going into the pit lane. That is the Williams of Vicious Vic, and they will do no more and participate no longer. Nimble kind of Ferrari goes P3, right where we left off last week. The McLaren of Podge, the championship leader, 10 points clear of Theo Townland. Can the Swedishman take pole here in Mexico? Podge to the line, takes P2, and it is provisional front row for Podge Racing. Icy has got a minute to get to the line. He is potentially going to have the driest track. Jabba also on an out lap. Then we've got the McLaren of Cinders. He's invalidated. A lot of drivers invalidating it. Here comes Umbra Ghost out of the final chicane. Has a little slip and a slide, but Umbra has gone faster. A 1:26.0. Bulldog to the line goes P3 with a 1:26.5, and that was James Gardner, who just made it to the line. He's in P13, but he is improving on his debut, just getting used to the track, used to the conditions. What? Who is that coming to the line? That is Super Skills that goes P2 in the Red Bull. And the Racing Bull Kevin Gamer just makes it to the line. SRL Matt is into the pits. And then Theo Townland is invalidated, but he's got 8 seconds to get to the line. He is going to go again, but down in P10. 10 points off the championship leader in the standings. And he is down in P10 here in Mexico qualifying. NDMV takes provisional pole, the 1:25.7. Incredible. Podge will not go again. The checkered flag has waved. Icy will be next. He's a second up on his lap time. So into the stadium section, and he's got a huge chunk of that, but he keeps it valid incredibly. He must have just left a wheel on the track. Icy, the rain has got so much lighter. The cars are going to be so much quicker here. Icy is up to P8. The Ferrari of Jabba goes P8. What about the Alpine of Umbra Ghost? He's not improving. And the Sauber of James Gardner without battery is improving. That just goes to show that the track is drying out. And James Gardner in the Sauber comes to the line, takes P11. And the Mercedes of Bulldog stays P5. I'm surprised nobody's taking this pole position considering the rain has practically stopped here. Super Skills will not improve. If anybody's left this really, really late, they could take pole. The track is basically dry. Here comes Kevin Gamer. Imagine Kevin Gamer stays P14, and then it will be Theo Townland who will take P4 and go in front of his championship rival. Even without any battery, Theo was able to do that lap because the track had dried up. But that is it. NDMV takes pole position here in Mexico. So it is NDMV that takes pole position here in Mexico. I just need to write this down. Umbra Ghost and then Super Skills are your top three. Then it is Theo Townland in P4 and Podge in P5. P6 is Bulldog in the Mercedes. P7 is Mad G. P8 is Nimblecat. P9 is Jabba in P9. Icy in P10. Vicar in P11. The Sauber in P12 of James Gardner. Great qualifying for the Irishman. And then P13 Cinders, Kevin Gamer, SRL Matt, Doug, and then that is it. So brilliant stuff. 16 drivers on the grid, all raring to go, and it looks dry. It looks cloudy, but it looks dry. So the driver's going for a mixed strategy. Mediums for NDMV, who starts on pole position. Alongside him on the front row is Umbra Ghost, also on the mediums. So, Super Skills in P3 and the Red Bull on the hards. Theo Townland on the mediums in the Kickstarter in P4 and Podge also on the hards. Then comes the free mediums of Bulldog in P6 and Mad Riot in P7, Nimblecat in P8 in that Ferrari. Then the hard runners, Jabba, his teammate in P9 and Icy in the Aston Martin in P10 also on the hards. And Vicious Vicar in the Williams in P11. The mediums of James Gardner in P12 in the Kickstarter and P13 of Cinders in the McLaren. Kevin Gamer on the mediums in P14 and SRL Matt also on the mediums in P15. Doug, who didn't set a lap in qualifying, will start P16 on the hards. And that is your grid for the Mexico Grand Prix. So this is it. We get ready for Tier 3 here in Mexico for round 14 here at Formula 7 Racing, powered by Sim Racing Setups. And it is lights out and away we go. Down towards turn 1, NDMV did get a really good start as Umbra Ghost chases him towards Moses Solana at turn 1. He's into the slipstream down the inside of turn 1. Umbra Ghost is going to take the lead here in Mexico. Umbra Ghost in the Alpine, but the Racing Bull has the speed around the outside. Icy already picking up a time penalty. Theo Townland and Super Skills go wheel to wheel, the Sauber and the Red Bull as they do touch, and Podge now has an opportunity to make a move. Bulldog in the Mercedes gets through cleanly. Jabba on his teammate Nimblecat is dropping down another position as Mad Riot in the Williams goes around the outside of SA De Largo at turn 4 and 5 as SRL Matt is up 4 places in that Haas. Vicious Vicar is down 5 down to P16, but it's a nice clean getaway and a clean start here in Tier 3. So that is a really good start to this Grand Prix. NDMV half a second in front of Umbra Ghost. All the drivers really closely matched, and here comes Mad Riot wheel to wheel with Icy. And around the outside goes to Williams. He has to leave a little bit more space than he wanted to. And Icy goes smashing into the back of the Williams. Did he get damaged? Nimble Cat around the outside of SRL. Matt into the stadium section. The Ferrari is through on Matt. Cinders, Kevin Gamer, Doug, that is Vicious Vicar, through on James Gardner, who's into the pit lane. No, on his debut. Here comes Umbra Ghost. He's through on NDMV. Remember, DRS is now enabled. Umbra Ghost is now your race leader as NDMV tries to find a way through. And Theo Townland cuts back up the inside. And what a great move from the championship contender. And now here comes the championship leader, the McLaren of Podge. Is he going to go later on the brakes around the outside of SA Del Lago? But it is the V-Cab that stays in front for now. Here comes the Papaya McLaren up the inside of NDMV. Down towards the hairpin. And the McLaren is through. That is a brilliant overtake. Theo Townland picks up a 3-second time penalty. That will be costly at the end of this race. So Umbra goes now 7 attempts clear. They are all on their mediums. Remember, Podge is on them hards and he's already up to P3. Oh, and here comes Bulldog up the inside into the stadium section. He tried to make the move. Super Skills being very patient on them hards, and a little slip from Bulldog. And as that opened up the door for the Red Bull, it has, and Super Skills will get the exit that he wanted. It's all about straight line speed down the Principal. And the Mercedes looks like it does have a little bit more straight line speed with that DRS enabled. Here comes Umbra Ghost and Theo Townland. The Alpine and the Kick Sauber. Umbra Ghost is in front, but the Sauber has the inside line coming out the exit. And remember, they'll get that double dose of DRS. The Sauber will attack again into the slipstream of Umbra Ghost. He'll go up the inside towards SA Del Lago. And the Sauber wheel to wheel once more. The Alpine leaving him the space. Great racing from the pair of them as they both run wide. And Podge watching all of this unfold as he tries to make a move on his championship contender. Great racing. This is really good battling, I tell you that. So Theo Townland with that DRS enabled. It still looks very cloudy out there, but there's no rain. They're all on them dry tyres, all on different strategies. Theo Townland cannot chase down. And here comes Bulldog on the championship leader, the Mercedes, going up the inside off the McLaren. And Podge Racing just able to fend him off. Now look at the front three, really going at it. NDMV, who did get through on Podge. Theo has no ERS. Exactly that, so he's not able to attack at the minute. Bulldog is through on the championship leader, Podge. And that is Cinders that is through on Nimble Cat, the McLaren driver up the inside of the Scuderia Ferrari, who's down to P12 for now, but they are locked in that DRS train. Really close competitive racing. James Gardner with that early pit stop, but he's in a lot of free air just to race into now. The race isn't over. It could become a safety car at any point in this Grand Prix. Here comes NDMV as well. They've both got DRS. He's going to go up the inside of Theo, and he's round. NDMV is round. He went for that late move up the inside of the Kick Sauber, and it didn't pay off for the Vietnamese driver, and he's down to P8. That is Icy and Cinders going wheel to wheel through the stadium section, and Cinders just able to come out on top for now. He does go a little bit wide though, and Icy respond. So down the Principal we go, and that is Super Skills that is now through on Podge, and he is down to P5. That is Mad Riot and Jabba going at it. The Ferrari leaving the space for the Williams, and that is how you go wheel to wheel. Rain inbound, says Bowen. Icy with that 3-second time penalty. Kevin Gamer into the pits. Yeah, the clouds do look very grey out there. And Icy trying to look for a move on Matt, who is up to P9. That's a great start to this Grand Prix for Matt. So Umbra Ghost, a second clear of Theo Thailand at the moment. Tyres, same as the start. So everybody's still on the same strategy, barring Kevin Gamer and James Gardner. Umbra Ghost this round. The race leader is round and down to P5. Did he get damage? Here comes Mad Riot as well. Oh, they touch. Umbra Ghost is off the track. And that is Jabba that also goes from Mad Riot. Did Umbra Ghost get damage or did he come out unscathed? Yeah, there goes Bulldog into the lead of the Grand Prix. That is a yellow flag somewhere. And that is Cinders on Icy with that DRS enabled. Icy's going to come back up the inside, lunges through, and Nimble Cat with the overtake. Oh, he's been pushed wide. Cinders and Icy getting very acquainted with each other, and Doug just picking up the pieces. But Nimble pushed off the track and down to P12 through no fault of his own. There's Podge again, making the move on Super Skills. He's back into the podium places after 6 laps. Oh, and that is the Red Bull of Super Skills that goes off the track, and Umbra Ghost is through into the stadium section. So, the drivers have really got to think about this now. When does the rain come? I'm surprised some drivers started on the hards knowing that the rain was pretty imminent. So Icy now 2 seconds behind Doug, and he's eeling off into the pit lane, and that is Nimble and Vicious Vicar. A combined age of about 250, and they go wheel to wheel. Two absolutely class fine gentlemen racing side by side, and that is Mad Riot through and Doug around the outside of Cinders. And Umbra Ghost as well on Theo Thailand. So the man who started at the front of this grid is back into P3 after making that mistake on his own. NDMV and Jabba going at it, the Ferrari and the V-Carb down towards the S's. Is NDMV going to go for another move on Jabba? Jabba leaves him a lot of room there, so I think he's just trying to watch out for his own race at this point. Bulldog picking up a time penalty. Umbra goes 2 seconds behind Podge and Bulldog at the front of this Grand Prix, but Bulldog's picking up a time penalty. That is so costly. And Theo has peeled off into the pit lane. He's on mediums. Now what is he going to do? He's had to pit off their mediums, and remember, he is battling for the championship. And he is going to go for the hards. I think that's the hards. It looked like a little green strip then. Yeah, it is the hards. So, Theo going on to the hards. So, he must not be expecting the rain just yet. As Podge chases down that Mercedes in front. So SRL Matt picking up a time penalty. Here comes Podge and Bulldog down towards the S's. And Podge just pulls out there because he knows the Mercedes would have needed that space. And Umbra Ghost is catching up to him at a rate of knots here. So out of the S's, he gets a really good exit. He's going to have that DRS, and now here comes Podge. And he will take the lead of the Grand Prix as he comes out of Del Ovalo and in towards the stadium section. Podge is now your race leader. So in towards Peritada and down the Principal. And it will be Podge that leads. Theo picking up another time penalty. Maybe a lot of these will be taken off. Here comes Umbra Ghost, but they've both got DRS. Is he going to use that battery? He's not. It's all about straight line speed, and Mad Riot is also into the pit lane. So a lot of the drivers are deciding to pit here. There goes Bulldog on Podge. I didn't think he was close enough to make the move, but he was. And the Mercedes is through on the McLaren. And remember, you get that double dose of DRS, so I'm not sure Podge will be able to get that position back. But here comes Umbragos. Look at the speed of the Alpine on the straights. And the front four separated by around a second. And here comes Podge once more down the inside in towards the hairpin. What a move that is from Podge. The Papaya McLaren taking back that P2. And if you're going to overtake him, you're going to have to do it the hard way, says Podge. NDMV with a time penalty as well. So, Bulldog is on their mediums. Is he going to pit? He is. I'm surprised. He stayed out for another lap, considering their medium tyres are so worn off now. I mean, the hards are already on like 40%, so never mind the mediums. And that is Umbragos that goes back into the lead, exactly where he started. Super Skills now into the podiums. NDMV, Jabba, Doug and Cinders going at it, and Cinders will move into P6. From the back of this grid, Doug in P7, Vicious Vicar in P8. Doug picking up a time penalty as well. I can feel there's going to be a lot of these being removed if there is a penalty glitch. So 10 laps down, 26 to go. And that is SRL Matt into the pit lane. James Gardner now back into it, sort of. A safety car would really help a few of these drivers out at some point, but all 16 drivers still in this race. And that is Cinders that goes off the track, and Doug goes through in the Alpine. What about Theo Tarnland on Nimblecat through the S's? He takes a big chunk of that chicane though. Was that another warning? And he's going to try and go around the outside. And the Kick Sauber driver turns in, and he clatters into Nimble, and that is the second time that a driver has spun it there, going wheel to wheel with Theo just today. Nimble, he'll be fuming about that. That was a bit gutting for him, and Cinders is back through on Doug. So Cinders in the McLaren, Doug in the Alpine, are battling quite aggressively, and now here comes Podge once again on Umbragos as we go in towards Essa del Lago and towards the hairpin. It is Umbragos that leads after 11 laps with Podge in P2. There's a yellow flag, and that is Kevin Gamer that is around through the S's, so he has spun it, and these are just about to catch him up. NDMV is now back with the pack. I think these drivers are losing a lot of time, you know. I think an undercut might be quite strong. Don't know what you guys think, but yeah, it looks like to me like the undercut might be the way to go in this race. So Jabba picking up a time penalty. And Podge. That's a yellow flag. Again, I can't see anything on my screen. I think it's just Kevin Gamer moving out the way it is. So the leaders, Umbra Ghost and Podge. Podge is going to try and go at the inside of Umbra Ghost. Super Skills is catching up. That is Bulldog on Theo Tineland, who is through. Bulldog is absolutely flying. He's gone for the undercut. He's setting fastest laps. And I tell you what, he's going to be way ahead of these drivers when they do pit. But he's probably going to have to pit again. Or if the rain comes, he'll be absolutely laughing. Cinder's picking up a time penalty. So, Podge right on the rear diffuser of Umbra Ghost as they come through the S's. So in towards the stadium section we go. It is the man that started on pole position that is back into the lead. Umbra Ghost. And the aerial shots there. Peritalda, and that is Jabba, is through on NDMV. Did he make a collision? NDMV is going into the pit lane, so is he now getting off? Surely he's not done 14 laps on the mediums. That is a long strategy. So Bulldog through on some more drivers that go into the pit lane, and he looks so far ahead of these drivers. After winning last week in Monza, he's looking for another great strategy. The Mercedes, here comes Umbra Ghost and Podge, wheel to wheel. Podge is through. The Swedishman is into P1 as he glides through past Umbra Ghost. In towards the hairpin. The Papaya goes wide. Umbra Ghost has lost it for the second time in this Grand Prix. Umbra Ghost is round. Jabba is now up to P3, Super Skills in P2, and Podge is a second clear in the lead. Yeah, Alvaro definitely struggling on these tyres, and it's no surprise. You've got to be so careful. So what do the drivers do now? Does Podge just go and sacrifice the pit stop? Bulldog is through on Doug into the stadium. What about Cinders? And Umbra Ghost is into the pit lane, so he's getting off their mediums. He's not risking any more of this race. I'm just going to have a look and see if there is any rain imminent. On my forecast here, it doesn't look like there is rain coming. So this is interesting, because I think a few of these drivers have committed themselves to the two-stop. Kevin Gamer is out of this Grand Prix, the first DNF. So Doug coming out of the pits, and he will come out just in front. Just in front of Vicious Vicar. I'm just trying to watch the forecast to see if there's any sort of movement on the weather. It is going up. It looks like there might be rain, but it looks to me that it won't be just yet. It could potentially come near the end of the race, and if we have a safety car, maybe sooner. So Podge is now 2 seconds clear of Super Skills. Jabba is going to go into the pit lane. Cinders will go through, but they will both get DRS. So here comes Bulldog and Cinders. Remember, Bulldog went for the undercut, so he'll be on a pacier tyres, but they are both locked in speed down towards turn 1. The Mercedes goes later on the brakes, and Bulldog is into the podiums once more. NDMV comes out in front of Jabba, and so does Umbra Ghost in the Alpine. It's been a pretty decent race considering. So, Icy goes into the pit lane, 16 laps down, 20 to go. They're all separated by quite a few seconds between every driver at the moment. James Garner with that 3-second time penalty. I still think there's going to be a safety car before the end of this race. I really do. Yeah, potentially. Bjorn, you're right. Vicious Vicker stays out again. 15 lap on the mediums though would be tough. Would be a tough act. I mean, looking at the tyres, Podge's mediums are on 59%, Super Skills on 62. So yeah, they could definitely get a few more laps off the hards. I think they should probably try and stretch it out to maybe lap 23. Because you don't know if rain might come. I mean, looking at the forecast now, it is speeding up a little bit. I think we could potentially see rain at about lap 27. So, Theo in the Sauber, battling with Cinders. This is not the way that Theo would have wanted this Grand Prix to go, with him being 10 points behind Podge in the championship. But through he goes, and down the Principal in P4. But look at the McLaren, even with the DRS of Theo Timeland, Cinders has got so much straight line speed. It's quite brilliant to watch how much downforce Cinders is carrying. That is Icy on James Gardner, the Sauber driver, being overtaken by the Aston Martin, but he's on them fresher tyres. So the driver's just got to be careful. We don't know what's going to happen. As we always say, anything can happen in this Grand Prix. On my system it says as well that Podge has slight front wing damage. Here comes Bulldog through the S's, as he is now catching up to Super Skills. Them hard tyres on 68% for that Red Bull in front. Remember, Bulldog has already pitted and he's caught back up to Super Skills, who he's yet to pit. That is how big this undercut is. Essentially, Bulldog has taken a pit stop away from Super Skills and Podge, but Bulldog will have to pit again. So that's exactly what he wanted to do through the two-stop strategy. So there goes Bulldog on Super Skills, the Mercedes on the Red Bull, and he is now up to P2. So he will chase down Podge, and once he gets past Podge, he is essentially in the lead of the Grand Prix, and he's on the same strategy as them now. This two-stopper has been brilliant for Bulldog, because he will pit again. So Icy catching up to SRL Matt. Did he get the DRS? He didn't on this lap. Podge picks up a time penalty that could become really costly at the end of this race. And look at that, wow! SRL Matt just backed out and Icy went flying down. Bulldog is within touching distance of the race leader, Podge in the McLaren. This is going to become really interesting to see what Podge does. So the Mercedes on the back of the McLaren. I'm sure I've just seen rain. And they go wheel to wheel, battling, and the Mercedes is through on the McLaren. Did I see a sprinkle of rain? So into the stadium section, Bulldog, after pitting, has caught back up to the leaders and taken back the lead. After pitting as well. That is absolutely brilliant. And the rain is here. The rain has arrived here in Mexico. So what do the drivers do? The drivers that stayed out for that one stopper. So here comes Theo on Super Skills. The Red Bull being overtaken by the Sauber, who's on 7-lap pressure tyres. And Umbra goes on NDMV, the Alpine on the Visa Cash App Racing Bull. So the drivers that stayed out on the mould hards can now get off them. But did it pay off though? You see the drivers that did pit, they've already caught up to them. There's a lot to think about in this race. Yeah, I think there's a penalty glitch. So Theo on the back of his championship rival. The rain is falling, but is it to the point where you can pit for intermediates? Because Podge is really struggling now. Theo in that Sauber, coming through the stadium section. And is he going to go into the pit lane, Podge? He is. He's going to sacrifice it, even if it's a little bit less pace for a lap. Oh, he's picked up a 10-second time penalty. Can you believe it? Super Skills is also into the pit lane, but Podge just picked up a 10-second time penalty. That is Umbra Ghost through on Mad Riot, the Alpine on the Williams, and he's up to P4. And he's all over MSCF1 Cinders. And he's smashed into the back of the McLaren. What about Vicious Vicar? He will now move up. That is yellow flags. That's an Aston Martin of Ice here that's spun it in the stadium section. Well, just on the entrance to the stadium section. Umbra Ghost is through on the McLaren, but Cinders has the inside line, wheel to wheel once more. The McLaren and the Alpine tangle. They touch, and it nearly ends in disaster as they come out of the hairpin. The Alpine gets the better exit, and Umbra Ghost is back in front of Cinders as NDMV and Mad Riot go at it behind them. So, the drivers stay out for another lap. Theo has pitted for the intermediates. Bulldog has stayed out. Umbra Ghost has stayed out. A lot of the drivers are not going into the pit lane because DRS is still enabled, but Theo has sacrificed it and gone for the intermediates. But I'm just not sure that it calls for intermediates just yet. NDMV is through on Cinders. Let's see where Theo comes out. He's come out way in front of Podge. So it wasn't intermediates just yet. Vicious Vicar, who is still on the hard. Oh, and Theo tries to stop. He smashes in to the back of Vicious Vicar. Did he get damaged? I don't think so. But I think you're right. Theo is just covering off Podge. He's not bothered about losing positions or losing points for the drivers in front. It's just about Podge at this point in the race. James Gardner chasing down Doug. Here comes the kick Sauber driver. Doug is also one of them intermediates. James Gardner might pick him off here. Theo's on hards. Theo pitted for hards. Wow. He's not even gone intermediates. That is crazy. Mad Riot is through on Cinders. So he's not even gone intermediates. And that is Mad Riot and Cinders going toe-to-toe through the stadium. Was that a mistake? Did he want to go intermediates and he just didn't swap them? Cinders, Mad Riot is into the pit lane now. James Gardner is through on Doug through the S's. So intermediates are struggling. It is just light rain at the moment. I mean, on my system, it weren't showing like heavy rain until like lap 27. And even on my system now, it's not showing like mad amounts of rain. I think we're about right. Intermediates is probably going to be like lap 27. So Podge come out behind Mad Riot. So Mad Riot, is he just pitted as well for hards? Wow, there's a lot of strategies going on here. The drivers are having to put a lot of thought into this. Cinders is still on them very old hards. And this could be a great strategy from Cinders. So do not count him out just yet. James Gardner and Doug, are they going to go at it again? And James Gardner being overtaken in that Sauber by the Alpine. Are them intermediates starting to come into play? The rain is just still so light. You can't even see the track dampening or anything. Theo on the back of Jabba. And here comes Theo. Theo might make up the time. He's picked up another time penalty. Theo might make up the time to have a pit stop and still come out in front of Podge at this rate. Podge pitted really early onto them intermediates. So Jabba, I think he's gone intermediates. So Jabba has gone in for inters. James Gardner stays out on them hards. So looking at the gap between Podge and Theo Townland, the gap is about 11 seconds now. So, I will tell you. So the last lap for Podge was a 1:26.6 and the last lap for Theo was a 1:22.6. 4 seconds quicker. There goes Doug on Vicious Vic. He's on them intermediates. And that is Bulldog into the pit lane. He is going to go for inters. Has he done it at the right time? We said inters would be around lap 27. We've called it. And he's onto mediums. Bulldog is onto medium compound tyres. Oh my goodness me. So Cinders stays out on them 78% worn hard tyres. And Theo is now up to P3 on them hards. Bulldogs come out on fresh mediums. Have the drivers got it wrong who pitted for intermediate? It does look like it's getting a bit worse out there. This is so fascinating to see what's going on. NDMV on the back of Mad Riot. Vicious Vicar on Doug. Down towards turn 1. And Doug comes right back at the Williams. Takes P10 back out of his hands. James Gardner is in. And onto a fresh set of mediums as well. Theo is through on Cinders. And Theo is now up to P2. It is, look at the tyres. Cinders 25 lap on hard. He is going into the pit lane. This will be interesting to see what he does. I think he goes for intermediates here and chances it. He could potentially win the race if this works out for him. He has. He's gone to intermediates. I don't know, actually. MDMV's in a good position. Super Skills is back in the pit lane. Is he going hard? He's going back onto mediums. Oh, SRL Matt has just been disqualified for picking up multiple penalties. We don't see that very often. Oh, wow, the driver is having to move out the way. So SRL Matt has been disqualified from the Mexico Grand Prix. And that is Umbra Ghost through on the Ferrari of Nimble. So Umbra Ghost into the lead. Podge is pitting. He is. He's come out on fresh mediums. This is going to put Theo Tanland as the championship leader of Tier 3. James Gardner is through on Doug. So Theo Tanland will be your championship leader at the end of the Mexican Grand Prix as it stands. He had to serve 10 seconds as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. Cinders came out on fresh intermediates, but then you've had two drivers pit off intermediates to go back onto hards. This is absolutely crazy. On my forecast, 82% chance of rain. Cinders seems to be struggling on them intermediates. Umbra Ghost is so far ahead with 8 laps remaining. Yeah, crazy weather. Nobody knew what to go on to. Nobody knew what to do. I mean, DRS is still enabled. I still feel like NDMV might be in a prime position for this race because the rain seems to be getting heavier now. And through the S's they go. All it takes is one slight mistake on them dry compounds. So Umbra Ghost stays out. Phil Tanland coming into the stadium section with Bulldog on his tail. Remember, Bulldog on them fresh mediums. And they both stay out again. NDMV still losing a little bit of time to Mad Riot. And that is Mad Riot, is it, into the pits? It is. Mad Riot has just pitted for hards. He's done 4-5 laps on the hards, and now he's back into the pits again, potentially for intermediates. He is. On to intermediates for Mad Riot. Wow, nobody knows what to do here. So, Bulldog is through on Theo Tanland on them fresh mediums. The Sauber down to P3. Is Theo starting to struggle? Yeah, definitely Alvaro. So Theo already losing quite a bit of time to Bulldog. Is NDMV in prime position on these intermediates? DRS is still on though. You're right. Theo will be the championship leader as it stands. That is prior to the stewards' outcomes though, and I know Theo has been embroiled in a few incidents today. Yeah, penalties. I know that there's a problem with the track, I think. Theo does have 12 seconds. He's catching back up to Bulldog, and DRS still enabled. I'm just watching NDMV because that's where we're going to see what the situation is in terms of weather conditions. So I'm just going to have a look at the last laps. NDMV's last lap of 1:26.3. Theo Tanland's last lap of 1:28.3. And then Umbra Ghost on 1:27.8. So yes, the intermediates were the fastest out of the top 4 on the last lap. That is interesting. Umbra Ghost is 15 seconds clear though. He's got nothing to lose. He can wait, bide his time and pit when he really needs to. He's been super dominant in today's race. So Theo on the back. Oh, Bulldog Jabba picking up another time penalty. Doug and James Gardner both back into the pit lane. It's just, how many pit stops have we had? Can you see the pits? Stops, yeah, sorry. Yeah, look at that. There's only 2 drivers on track that have had a 1 stop. One's leading the race and the other's in P5. And they stay out for another lap. You can see the rain starting to bounce off the track now. This is going to be so close to the end. I think we're going to have some drivers that are just going to try and make it to the end of the Grand Prix. And I feel like it's going to be intermediate tyres. And they're going to be creeping to the line right at the end. What do you guys think is going to happen from here? James Gardner's done a terrific job as well on his debut to still be battling and still be in this race. Super Skills is back in on their mediums. He's going to go for intermediates for the final 5 laps. There goes Mad Riot through on Jabba, and Mad Riot is up to P6. Yellow flags are waving. Has somebody already lost it? I can't see anything on the track. Hodge is now up to P9. He needs every point he can get. So Umbragos leads by 15 seconds. Theo is closing that gap to Bulldog, and look at NDMV. He's caught up to them by 2 seconds in that last lap. That is Nimble carting the Ferrari into the pit lane as well. He's on intermediates and he's gone back into the pits. Can he not make it to the end? He can't. He's back onto a fresh set of intermediates. He's guaranteed points though. NDMV is within touching distance, and this could be a podium for him. Umbrago still leads by 15 seconds with 4 laps remaining. Theo gets a good exit, and now he's going to go racing with Bulldog. NDMV is there. They're going to go battling, the 3 of them. Here comes the kick Sauber around the outside of the Mercedes, and up the inside goes NDMV on the intermediate tyres. The Mercedes pushes him wide, leaves him the space, and NDMV has got the grip now on the intermediates, and he's up to P2 with a brilliant overtake. That is Bulldog still in P3. Podge is back into the pits. So Bulldog and Theo going at it. Is Theo going to try to move into the stadium section? NDMV is already 2 seconds clear. It is looking treacherous. The drivers are struggling now that the rain has arrived. And Bulldog is going into the pit lanes. Theo is staying out, and Bulldog is committing to a pit stop and picked up a 10-second time penalty. I cannot believe Bulldog has gone into the pits, picked up a 10-second, and with 3 laps remaining, he's going to go on to another set of tyres, intermediate tyres. Surely he's not going to make up enough time. Surely he stays out. Cinders is up to P4. Mad Riot is up to P5. Jabber is back into the pit lane. NDMV is 14 seconds behind Umbra Ghost. Surely that gap's too big. Surely it's too big, but we don't know. DRS is disabled. That is it. DRS is disabled. Theo has stayed out on the hard. So has Cinders. They've already lost 5 seconds to NDMV. They are creeping and crawling around this circuit. Umbra Ghost has got a long way to go. This is going to be such a thrilling end to this Grand Prix. And I tell you what, 3 laps is a long way on hard compound tyres. Is Umbra going to pit? Here comes the Alpine driver around the final chicane. He's going to stay out. He's going to commit. NDMV, he's going to catch him. I tell you, he's going to catch him. We are on lap 34 of 36. Nobody has an idea what to do. But it is Theo in P3. Cinders will start to catch him on them intermediates. Theo is staying out. Can Cinders potentially get a podium? Cinders needs to be within 6 seconds of Theo. And NDMV only 11 seconds behind Umbra Ghost. Umbra Ghost, every single corner, every single sector is getting harder and harder. Mad Riot will move up into P3, you're absolutely right, because he's got no time penalties and he's on intermediate tyres as like Cinders and Theo. So Mad Riot is on for a podium as it stands. NDMV 10 seconds behind Umbra Ghost, but he's only going to get quicker and quicker as the rain continues to fall on this slippery circuit. Let's have a look at lap times. Umbra Ghost's last lap a 1:31.2, NDMV a 1:28.4, so it isn't that much difference yet. James Yardner with a time penalty. Umbra Ghost coming around the final chicane. NDMV needs to put everything into this now. 2 laps to go. 9 seconds is the gap. No, Umbra has 3 more seconds. So NDMV just needs to be within 3 seconds of Umbra Ghost. Let's have a look at the Alpine, who started on pole position. He made 2 mistakes and built his way back up to the lead of the Grand Prix. Had he not have had them 2 mistakes, he could potentially be 30 seconds in the lead at this rate. But the gap is now 8.7, 1.5 laps remaining. Is NDMV going to catch him to take the victory? The Hermanos Rodriguez circuit has not disappointed here in Mexico. It has given us everything. 7.1 is the gap. This final lap is going to be intense. Remember, the gap is essentially 3.4 because Umbra does have an extra penalty than NDMV does. And Mad Riot and Cinders have massively caught up to Theo Tarnland. The gap is now 6 seconds. So Theo is also struggling. Everybody's catching up. The gaps are really spread out here. 4.6. NDMV is going to get the race victory. We are on the final lap of the Mexican Grand Prix. Umbra Ghost leads 4.5 seconds. He's on hard tyres. NDMV is chasing him down on intermediates. Theo Tarnland is being chased down by Cinders and Mad Riot. Mad Riot is on for a podium. NDMV is nearly in that 3 seconds. And that means he is going to take the race victory away from the pole sitter and the race leader. He might even be able to still get him on track yet. Umbra Ghost is struggling to even move the car around the chicane. And look at this, the gap is 1.5. NDMV is potentially going to do it on the track. Through the S's we go. Umbra Ghost made a good crack at it. He tried to stay out. He tried to win this race. But NDMV, with the right strategy, bid for the intermediates, is about to take the race lead away from Umbra Ghost. Down the inside he goes. Oh, if NDMV had picked up a time penalty then, that would have lost him the race. Into the stadium sections, the fireworks erupt. And it is Umbra Ghost in the Alpine. Is he going to get him on the exit of the chicane? NDMV will have a lot more grip. Down towards the line, he is going to do it on track. NDMV wins here in Mexico. Theo Tarnland is coming through. Cinders has caught right up to him. But it is going to be Mad Riot that takes a podium here in Mexico. Theo Tarnland will come through and take P3 on track. What a race from Cinders. What a race from Mad Riot as Mad Riot takes a podium. Nimblecat gets through. And up to P13. James Gardner on his debut in P12. Vicious Vicar in the Williams. Jabba in the Ferrari on his tail. Hodge down in P10. This is massive. That means that Theo Tarnland will now be the championship leader. I'm pretty sure of it. Well, actually P5, so what is it? 30, 25, 22, 2018. Then you got 15, 13, 11, 10, 8. He might not be. Hodge might still be in the lead by 2 points. I'll double check it though. Wow, what a race. There we have it. On the top step, NDMV wins. Vietnam, Greece and Great Britain all represented on the top steps. On the Paddock Club in the stadium section. And then I need to do all the stats, standings. And I need to help Bjorn set up. He will be the commentator for Tier 2 today, Bjorn, with Mad G. So I need to get all that sorted. So let's have a look. So NDMV wins. Then Umbra Ghost, Mad Riot, Cinders, Theo, Vicious Vicar. The Mercedes of Bulldog was in P7. Then in P8 and P9 there was Super Skills and Jabba. Let me just write this down. And then Podge, James Gardner, Doug Nimble, Icy, Kev Gamer and SRL Matt. Fastest lap says James Gardner. Wow, well done. Driver of the day has to be... Oh, it's got to be Mad Riot or Cinders. Cinders had an incredible race. To get P4, but Mad Riot got a podium from P7 on the grid. NDMV as well, I got it. You know what, I just realised NDMV started the race on pole position as well, it weren't Umbra Ghost. Alvaro Tier 2 should be 12:30, but I'll double check, mate. But I just need to help him get everything set up. My driver of the day is going to go to Cinders. I've got to give it Cinders. P13 to P4. Great strategy. Get great racing. It's just, yeah, really good. So I will invite, I don't think Umbra Ghost. NDMV isn't on PlayStation. I don't know about Umbra Ghost. Let me see. I don't think Umbra Ghost is as well. No, he's not. Right, so we've just got one interview, and that is Mad G. So your P3 driver, the podium setter, Mad G. How was that one?
I so well needed that.
What a race!
Oh, it was fun. Put it that way.
Yeah, talk us through your strategy to get P3 at the end there as well. What a strategy!
Well, I think at the beginning I was going to do medium hard regardless, and even at the start I was still keeping up with those on better hards to my more mediums. So I'm thinking, yeah, I think I've done a right setup here because I was able to catch him, especially in the 3S section, the sector 2. I could gain right up to him. I thought, well, let's just keep doing it. So going to hard, catch him back up again, pass a few, get past as you do. But as the rain came, I thought, well, it's not slippier yet. Some going into us. I thought, nah, I'm going to try hards again. So I went back on hards, and lo and behold, I was slow to go quicker. And then, yeah, eventually just got big 2 wet, and I thought, I'll go on inters. But those at the front were still on dry tyres, especially was it Theo? No, not Theo.
Theo and Umbra, weren't they?
No, was it? I thought Theo was behind me in the end. Was it
yeah,
NDMV?
Sorry,
NDMV,
was, yeah.
NDMV and Umbro. I think one of those was still on, dry
Umbra.
tyres. A couple of them were still on dry tyres, and to be fair, everyone was getting penalties left, right, and centre. I thought, if I keep it clean, I'm all right. I'm one warning away from the 3 second. One warning away. And,
that's what it does when you keep it clean. That's the prime example, picking up the pieces.
I don't know if people are going, why? Because they were trying to go flat out again, no downforce at the rear, so they couldn't hold the rear ends, and I just kept it clean as best as I can. Kept it clean, made some good overtakes. I think when they moved to Inters, I think I came behind someone. They broke very early, and I just shot past them. I think it was Jabber. I think it was.
Yeah.
But lucky enough, I would have made the move to the other side before he braked anyway, so I was all right with that. So, but yeah, if you keep it clean, put a bit more rear wing on the rear, you stay within the white lines.
Absolutely, it was just a phenomenal performance, and the strategy and everything about it was just brilliant. In terms of the end, did you know you was going to catch him? Because I mean, on them intermediates, you were really going for it at the end, and you were catching up so quickly to Theo as well.
I was, because I knew it was getting wetter and wetter, because I could tell on the inters as well, because it kept I couldn't go as fast to the S section as I wanted to. And when I saw the time for Theo go from 20 seconds down to 15, 10, 12, I thought, here we go, I'm going to go for this.
Yeah.
I knew it was only a 12-second penalty. I thought, if I just keep going, keep it clean, I'm going to get it. So I knew Cinders had a penalty in front of me as well. I mean, how he did a one-stop, that is unbelievable. I mean, I had to do a three-stop in the end to his one. So, credit to Cinders with that one-stop. It was amazing. But I thought, no, if I just keep pushing, stay behind the guys that got penalties, I got nothing to worry about.
No, absolutely. No, you're a prime example of keeping it consistent, doing what you need to do, staying on your strategy and getting to the end of the Grand Prix. It was just a brilliant race to watch, and nobody knew what to do.
Without making a mess, that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, last two Grand Prix have been a bit of a disaster. I mean, I'd say, unfortunately, when I went off at Netherlands and, unfortunately, Cinders got hit back, Cinders went into my car. I've apologised to him about that. I mean, last week at Monza, I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't realise they were going to catch up that quickly. So again, I apologise for that as well. I mean, I had to get my head a wobble about it, and just got back into the groove of things, and here's my result for a minute.
Absolutely. It was a great result, mate. A great strategy, and fantastic to see you on the podium again. So well done, mate.
I needed it, put it that way. it boosts your confidence, put it that way.
No,
and to all the rest of the guys, I got to congratulate them all. I mean, thinking in the end of it, only 3 of us got no penalties, which is me old dad, and Nimblecat. None of us got penalties, and the rest of them did. But all credit to those. I kept doing it, kept with it. Trying to do what they could. Unfortunately for Gate Gamer, he had to retire. Matt got disqualified, but sometimes you've got to drive within yourself, not above yourself, and that's where you get the benefits.
No, you're absolutely right. Great advice there, Mad G. But well done on the podium.
Thank you.
Cheers. There you have it, your podium sitter, Mad G, and your Tier 2 commentator, by the way. You will be listening to him very shortly. On the podium once again, just brilliant. It just shows that experience pays off. You have Mad G, you've got Nimblecat and Vicious Vicar, as he said, all without penalties. And it just goes to show that you will get the rewards if you keep it clean, and that was the prime example of it. So well done to Mad G on the podium. Well done to the podium sitters and your race winner NDMV as well. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be with you for Tier 2. Bjorn and Mad G will be your commentators for Tier 2, so I'll see you for that one at 12:30. I will be racing in it at the very, very back of the grid because I'm really bad, but make sure you tune in for that one, and thanks for watching. See you later, guys.